Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Tyrann Mathieu was a guest on RG3 and the Ones That's RG3's podcast. And the safety spot for the Saints this offseason is one that I've focused on a good bit, because after they cut Marcus Maye, and the way I've phrased this, and I believe this, look, Marcus Maye missed 17 games the last 2 years. Okay. It's like a full season. Nothing lost in cutting Marcus Maye. I mean, you invested a 3-year contract into him. You gave him a lot of money. It didn't work out. It happens sometimes to free agents. Suspensions, injuries, whatever. Well, when Maye was out last year, the 10 games he missed, you saw Jordan Howden and Jonathan Abrams start in his place. And the Saints were a top 10 pass defense. So I don't think losing Marcus Maye and sort of leaning on Howden and Abram in whatever capacity is a bad thing. The problem was you were down a body at that position you didn't replace. Well, now they've signed Will Harris from Detroit, and so you've added a young veteran who can be a special teams guy for you, a rotational player, can play either safety spot. So I feel much better about it. But the other part, too, is Tyrann. Tyrann had, a Pro Bowl caliber season back in 2019 when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. And the only thing that really at times has limited Tyrann's career has been injuries. But when he's been healthy and played full seasons, he's been a really good NFL player. Again, Pro Bowler in 2015, 2019, and 2020. And it's hard to believe, but Tyrann's career goes all the way back now to 2013. Guy's been in the league more than a decade. He's played in 163 games with 154 starts. The last 2 years, Tyrann Mathieu has not only played in, but started every game for the Saints. He has started all 34 games in which he has played for the New Orleans Saints. So this is a guy that at this point in his career, even into his 30s, has managed to stay healthy and been productive. And last year, Tyrann Mathieu was the Saints' best defensive player. He was, let me rephrase. I shouldn't say that. Demario Davis is your best defensive player. But after Demario Davis, Tyrann was certainly your best defender in the secondary, and he was the best defensive player after Demario Davis. So looking at this point in his career, however, when he's obviously won a championship with Kansas City, came home to New Orleans with an opportunity to play for the Saints, and we hoped would get the Saints over the hump. Part of that, when they signed Jarvis, they signed Tyrann, everybody's really excited. But you've missed the playoffs the last 2 years. And Tyrann's back in New Orleans again in 2024, and I think it was fair to ask, why would you return to New Orleans when, at this point in your career, and you're still playing at a high level, why wouldn't you seek an opportunity to go to a team that has a better chance to win a championship? And Tyrann was asked why he decided to sign an extension in New Orleans.
Well, when I came here, man, there was a lot of expectations. And I'd probably say the last couple of years hasn't really gone, the way we wanted it to go, So I was like, man, I came here, obviously to serve my community, but man, I want to win too, And
right.
So now I have another opportunity, another chance to help this team win, help this city win. I just felt like I didn't do enough, the last couple of years. So I was definitely grateful, to have another opportunity to, help the team win, man. Because as you know, man, it's all about wins and losses.
I mean, I don't know that you could say it any more plainly. I mean, he said, look, I did come here to help my community, but that's felt like an added bonus. You were coming to an organization that had won the division 4 straight years up until 2020 when Drew Brees retired. Obviously the injury to Jameis in 21 really sucked, but you felt like, all right, here was your opportunity to bounce back, and the expectations were high again in 22. And then obviously bringing Carr in 23, but it hasn't happened, which is why it's fair to say, do you exit stage left? And I don't think anybody would have blamed Tyrann if he would have gone somewhere with an opportunity, because, yes, serving his community is part of it, but you heard him say it, want to win. So the part that is the big conundrum for New Orleans is how close are they really to contending. Here's what Tyrann said to answer that.
The last 2 seasons, we finished the season strong, right? And but when you look at our record, you're like, man, like 7-9, 9-8, just not good enough, right? And I think about a lot of the games we played, a lot of one-score games. How can we put the work in throughout the off season, throughout camp? Like, how can we grow closer so that we do win 2, 3, 4, more games? Because we have the players to do it, right? And we've had opportunities to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we just haven't done it. And so if we could just, man, focus on our work and then, man, just win those games that you're supposed to. We're not that far off. Like I said, 7-9 and 9-8. Like, all you need is 3, 4 more wins, man. And, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl. They were 11-6. It could happen. You know what I mean? But you have to find a way to create that momentum.
It's the most dangerous part of that conversation when you live in that perpetual state of mediocrity. When you live in that 7, 8, 9 win range. Tyrann is right. He is right. Like, I can think back, the one we talked about all season last year was Green Bay. Like, if you finish the game against Green Bay, you're in the playoffs. Period. You win the division, you're in the playoffs. And then once you're in, who knows? And you're a division champ, so you're hosting a first-round game. Yeah, I could argue that. I could also say, look at how much you struggled to beat a team like Chicago with a Division II, I don't even remember the kid's name. The kid from Division II who played quarterback for a minute and a half in Chicago. What was his name?
Bagent.
Tyler Bagent.
Tyson Bagent.
Tyson Bagent. Tyson or Tyler? Bagent? Yeah, that kid.
Now you got me
isn't this the point?
Guessing. Yes.
But isn't this the point? Like, you won that game by 7. You couldn't run away from a team being quarterbacked by a Division II rookie. So, yeah, you're a game away from being 10-7, winning the division in the postseason. You're also a game the other way away from a losing record. And that's the tough part about the conversation when you live in this perpetual state of mediocrity. And that's the thing that, in my opinion, has handcuffed this organization. Because you can see the top of the mountain. You're close enough to see it, but you're not capable. Your legs aren't strong enough to climb the rest of the way. That's the problem. So when you're that close, do you have the humility to say, you know what? I know we're close, but we don't have enough to get there. So do we just keep staying here, spinning our wheels? Or do we take a few steps back so that way we can take the necessary leap forward to get to the top of the mountain? And that's the thing that's tantalizing. When you're a veteran like Tyrann and you're at the end of your career, and every year, every opportunity is sacred because you know you're running out of time, like, you don't have time to go through a rebuild, which is why I think it would have been really understandable if he had said, I'm going to tap out, I'm going to go try to win another one somewhere else, and nobody would have blamed him. This was interesting as well. And again, this was Tyrann Mathieu on RG3's podcast, RG3 and the Ones. And they asked him about Dennis Allen, if he thought Dennis Allen was the right coach for the Saints.
Well, he's a good coach, man. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. I've been around some of the best. I played under Romeo Crennel. I played under Todd Bowles. I played under Spagnuolo, in Kansas City, right? And he's up there, man. Like, he's on. I like to tell people too, man, like, sometimes you just go through rough spots. You go through rough patches, but I don't think that's like an indictment on your character. It may just be the season you're in. Like, he's more than capable, of leading us. I think the kind of like what people are saying outside of us, we don't really feel like it. We see him in the hall. We see him in the cafeteria. Like it's always love. You know what I mean? Right. He's always engaging with us. So, and I think as a professional player, like, that's all you can really ask for from your coach.
That's true.
Sometimes you go through a bad season. That's what he said. Dennis Allen's 24-46 as a head coach. 4-12, 4-12, 0-4 fired in Oakland. Got the Saints job, went 7-10 last year, was 9-8 his first winning season. Now, the real question is, do you believe that Dennis Allen going 7-10, 9-8 next year becomes 11-6? Like, do you believe there's another 2-game improvement to get you to 11 wins back in the playoffs and pushing for a championship? Or is it more likely you go the other way or stay where you are? I mean, Vegas has Saints over under 7.5. It's early. See how the rookies play. There's always variables with injuries that you never really can tell. You're tied with Atlanta for the easiest schedule in the NFL this year. so it's manageable. Hopefully Derek Carr's healthy. Mickey Loomis said this week that, blaming Carr's inefficiencies at times last year on the injury bug. We'll see. But I could also say that didn't sound like a resounding endorsement for the coach. The man, yes. The head coach wasn't exactly ringing. One more, though, from Tyrann. I thought it was interesting because he was asked about Marshon Lattimore, and in that secondary, it's been the most talked about thing this offseason, whether or not Marshon Lattimore is going to be back, if he's going to be traded, post-June 1, trade, cut, whatever the case may be. You draft Kool-Aid McKinstry. Tyrann was asked about how important Lattimore is to that secondary.
He represents everything it means to play defense, for the Saints in Dennis Allen.
Okay.
We play a lot of man-on-man. It's a lot of man-on-man, you know what I mean? And that's your guy. Wherever he goes, you got him. I think we really count on that, in that regard, especially in our division and our conference too, man. Like every team has, a really good receiver, and you have to have a really good corner, right? Or you don't have a chance. And so, he provides us with that security, and he's motivated too. The last couple of years hasn't really gone his way either, and I've talked to him a few times this offseason, and like he's itching to get back to it, because people are talking about him.
That's true.
He's one of the best corners in his league. So, he's definitely motivated, and I think he'll be ready to roll this shit for sure.
If he can stay healthy. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.